I appreciate Alan doing his recap of the year, and he's been nervous for a week and a half. So I don't know if he took Valium or what, but anyway, he got through it. And I appreciate all of you being here for the amount of time that you have, and for everybody working together, just like we're supposed to do as a church. But I think I said several weeks ago that my plan when I was retiring at Chilhowie Christian Church was to find a small church of about 30 or 40 people and just go there and preach every week and not be as busy as I was at Chilhowie Christian Church. But then I realized that that's not what God called the church to do or to be. And so I don't want to be a part of a church that just has church. Church is way more than an event on Sunday morning, as you can realize from all that Alan read that we've been doing. And so I'm glad that we're all together here and that we want to continue to win lost people to Jesus. That is the purpose of the church. It is not to have a meeting on Sunday morning, although we're called to meet together. As a matter of fact, when we do not go to church, Hebrews 10:25 just says this: do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together, as the habit of some is. Don't forsake the assembling of yourselves together. And so, I want to challenge you, whether you're here in town and you come to this church, or when you're on vacation, go to church somewhere. You don't take a vacation from worshiping God when you're on vacation. 8 of us went to Ohio last week, and 9 of us went to church together in Millersburg, Ohio. And so I just want to challenge you to want to be together with brothers and sisters in Christ for encouragement, for accountability, for fellowship, to worship God together. Now, how many of you were at Chilhowie Christian Church in the old building downtown? Let me see your hand. Okay, several of you. Okay. Well, you remember we decided that we were going to build a building, and in order to do that, we had a capital campaign. And 2 of the people that were on the finance committee are here. And so we did a capital campaign to raise money to start our new building. And so I told everybody that we were going to have a once-in-a-lifetime offering. How many of you participated in all 3 of our once-in-a-lifetime offerings at Chilhowie? Yeah. And so here's the moral of that story is God's work never stops. God's work never stops. We didn't have an organized capital campaign, but we bought the land before we even started the campaign for the building. And I think we paid $75,000 for the land. And so we got that paid off. Then we started the building campaign. And then we had another campaign to build the gym and the connecting building. And then after that campaign ran its course, we had another one to help pay down the debt. And when I retired, we owed $140,000 on a building that's insured for $6 million. 140,000. I think now it's down to 70,000. 70. So I said all that to say this. We want to continue to move forward. We want to continue to do God's work in this community. And so if you live long enough, you're probably going to participate in a fourth once-in-a-lifetime offering. Okay? We're trying to find some land to build, or a building that's already built. I don't know what God has in mind, but I do know He wants us to continue to do His will, and His will is to win lost people to Jesus. And so when we do that, then we're going to have more and more people attending our congregation, which is a good thing. Now, some of us, we get a little bit nervous about doing things we've never done before. I was really nervous about planting a church. I had never planted a church in 40-some years of ministry. But we did, and God has blessed us beyond most of our imaginations. And so, but I don't want to stop here. As a matter of fact, God doesn't want any of us to stop. We need to continue to grow in the grace and the knowledge of Jesus, and to mature in Him, and to bring other people along for the ride. Someone said our life on earth is just that we're walking each other home. Because our home is not here. Our citizenship, Paul said, is in heaven. But sometimes we wonder, how's this work? And I ask God that all the time. What do I need to do? Which direction do we need to go? Because I've still never done what we're doing. I've always started with a intact, in-place congregation that had a building. I want to read to you what God said to Joshua after Moses died. And God buried him outside the promised land. In Joshua chapter 1, beginning with verse 1, here's what Joshua recorded. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' aide, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now then, you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land that I am about to give them, to the Israelites. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the desert to Lebanon, and from the great river, the Euphrates, to all the Hittite country, to the great sea on the west. No one will be able to stand up against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will what? Never leave you nor forsake you. Wonder where Jesus got those words in the New Testament. Now here's the part I want all of us to listen to. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their forefathers to give them. Verse 7 repeats it. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. And what's God's promise in the next sentence if you do that? Then you'll be what? Prosperous and successful. You know, I hear these preachers sometimes say, God didn't call me to be successful. He just called me to be faithful. You know what that is? It's an excuse for doing nothing. God did call us to be successful. Do you think He sent Jesus down here not to be successful in procuring our salvation for us? Do you think He gave His own Son's life on a cross for us not to be successful? When He's promised, if you remain faithful and I remain faithful, we will be successful. Alan just read from Ephesians 3:20. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine. How? Through His power at work in us. To His honor and His glory. And to that of Jesus Christ in the church forevermore. Do you know, in our old building downtown, Barbara Delp put that verse on a magnet. We gave it to everybody who was coming to church. And do you know what God did for us? More than we could ask or imagine. And that's what He's promised to do. That's what He promised Joshua. If Joshua and the Israelites would do their part, God was going to do His. Verse 9, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. How many times did God say in this short conversation, be strong and courageous? Don't be timid. Listen to the next phrase. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Do you really believe that? Hey, is it 3 minutes to 11? Is it? Holy Moses. Alan, he preached way too long, didn't he? Some of us, we're afraid of the unknown. And so we're hesitant. Somebody posted on Facebook and I shared it. Fear is what if. Well, what if this happens? What if we buy land? And then they say you can't build on it. Or what if this or what if that? But faith says, even if. Do you know anybody that's always using the word, well, if this happens, but what if this happens? I love a quote that I heard Alan Counts and I in 1998 went to see his uncle out in New Mexico and Colorado. And I was listening to some motivational stuff, much to Alan's chagrin. But the guy said this, and I've never forgotten it. For people who doubt everything, and they have an excuse for everything. Well, what if this happens? Well, but what if this happens? He said, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. You know, sometimes you just got to take the leap. Do you know you can recover from a bad decision, but you can never recover from indecision? So do something, even if it's wrong. Do something. We got to have faith, not fear. Now, I took these pictures and put them on my phone. I want to say two more things and I'll quit. Jesus did not tell sinners to come to church. Let me say that again. Jesus never told sinners to come to church. What did he do? He told the church to go to them. Why would a non-Christian on their own without an invitation even want to come to church? You've been told, I've been told to go to them. And that's what we've been trying to do for the last year. Go out and serve our community in the name of Jesus. Now, I want to end with one more thing that how do people start attending church? Now, and I also sent this or shared this to everybody. I don't know how many of you got it. How do people start attending church? 86% in the national average of the churches said a friend invited. A friend invited. That's how 86% of people started coming to a church. So my question is how many people have you invited? How many have I invited? And some of you have invited quite a few. I mean, I didn't even know Alan Counts had two friends, you know. And he's sitting beside one of them this morning. And I think he's just trying to make Al feel better. I don't know. 6% came because of organized visitation. Another 6% came because the preacher asked them. And 2% came because of advertising. So, if 86% of the people who are in church are there because someone invited them, what should we be doing as a church? We need to be inviting people. We need to go out and invite people to come. So, here's the deal. We are wanting to move forward as a congregation. We do want to find land or a building, and we've gone and looked at. We've been in negotiations with people about a building. We've been in negotiations with people about land. But here's the thing. You can't buy either one until you got church members, and we don't got any members. We have no church members. And let me just say this real quickly about church membership. Having your name on a roll here at New Horizon Christian Church or Chilhowie Christian or Marian Baptist or any other church is not going to get you to heaven. It's just that simple. But in order for us to be a viable congregation, you've got to have members. You can't buy land, you can't buy a building, you can't do anything unless you have a non-profit organization. And they have to have members and a board. So, next Sunday, we're going to give everybody an opportunity to be a member here. If you have been, let me see this thing here. Is somebody going to stand at each door and give everybody these? Yeah. We got a little card here. And it says, I blank, which this is mine. I, Frank Branson, as an immersed believer, wish to be a member of New Horizon Christian Church. But if you happen to not be a Christian, it says, I, Frank Branson, would like to accept Christ and be immersed which will also make me a member of New Horizon Christian Church. So what we're going to do is hand everybody one of these blank cards as you're leaving. And next Sunday, anybody who wants to be a member of our church can give us a card, or I may just have everybody come up front that wants to. However we're going to do it. But we've got to start a membership sometime. Okay? And are we having baptism next Sunday? We're having a baptism next Sunday. So if anybody else wants to be baptized, next Sunday would be time to do it. Okay? And what else am I supposed to say? You know. What? Oh, yeah. Now, I know, like I said, you being a member here is not going to help you spiritually. I mean, you've been coming, some of you, for a year now. And that's fine with me. But here's what I tell people about church membership. If you're going to come to a specific congregation and you're going to give your time and your talent and your treasure, you ought to have a say in what goes on. And members are the ones who get to vote on major issues, you know, like buying land or something of that nature. So, but if you don't want to, one person told me the day we started, she said, I'm going to come, I'm going to help start this, but I'm not going to place my membership here. I said, that's fine. You don't have to be a member to come here. As a matter of fact, none of us are members. And we've been coming for a year. So don't feel like you have to be a member here. But I just want to give everybody the opportunity. The leadership team wants to give everybody the opportunity. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you this card, and you take it home, you can pray about it, and then you can either come back with a card, and you can place your membership here any Sunday. It doesn't have to be next Sunday. You can become a Christian anytime. It doesn't have to be on any Sunday. Call me. I'll be glad to meet you anytime, anywhere. Okay? Now, have I forgotten anything that I'm supposed to say? Marilyn and Alan, they always, keep me on point. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate everything that you have done this past year. God has blessed us way beyond my imagination. And I think He will continue to do that if we will continue to follow His purpose and His plan. So that's just what I want us to do. Keep doing what we've been doing. And, if any of you do want to start a home group, as long as you're going to have a snack when we meet, I'll be glad to help you. Okay? The one we had at Mike and Linda King's has gone great, but we're taking a break for the summer. We're going to start back up in September. And a lot of people, look, how many of you need one more thing in your life to have to do? Anybody in here need one more thing? No. But discipleship is not having a class or something. It's just finding some people to do life with. That's all it is. So there's some people that you can be a mentor to just by being you, and you don't have to take another 2 hours a week out of your week to do it. Okay?